What's up, everybody? This is Zach here with the Nerd Cave Podcast, episode 233. Last week I said 231 when it was 232, so I had to throw up a huge graphic like, hey, I'm a dummy. But this week we got it right. It's 233. I'm joined along with none other than the bearded sultan himself,
Robbie Ross.
How you doing, man?
Oh, well, that's me. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You see that energy? It's like, ah!
I'm doing great also, my friend.
Good. I'm glad. We got a ton of news. But before we get to that, everybody, if you want to get this show early, like our awesome Patreon saints, you can go over to patreon.com/nerdcave, throw us $1, make Robbie, and you can get it early as we're recording all of this good stuff. You can also pay to get the edited version with all the bells and whistles, audio versions and all of that. If you don't have any dollars to throw, that's awesome too. We understand that. You can go to youtube.com/nerdcavenetwork and get it day by day, segment by segment, until we put the whole thing up on Friday as a full video or podcast on podcast services around the globe.
I don't know why I did the side.
I don't know either.
But it works.
It does work. You know what else works? The Game Awards. Okay. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's bad. But Jeff Keighley does a really good job with the Game Awards. And they put out the nominations for all the different categories. Yeah. The one that really matters, though, is Game of the Year. Trending Game of the Year, Gamer of the Year. Everybody go vote for Andrea Renee, part of Kind of Funny and What's Good's Games. Very, very good. She was pretty much the voice of GameStop forever. You walk in and the girl that was talking, that was Andrea Renee. So go vote for her. One day one of us will be nominated as trending gamer, you know.
You never know.
One of these days. But that's okay because we got Game of the Year stuff to talk about. So for the categories of Game of the Year, we have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and Persona 5 and Horizon Zero Dawn.
I can only talk about one of these. Well, two technically.
So out of these five, what would you vote for?
Even though I haven't played the game, I know where it's going.
Yeah,
it has to go to Zelda. Zelda or Mario is going to be your two biggest pushers.
It's interesting to have two Nintendo properties on there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I think the sneaky person that's gonna come in is PUBG. PUBG is beloved by all the PC gamers and the console gamers.
And soon, Xbox One is going to be getting PUBG.
So we're going to be seeing a lot more people fall in love with PUBG. So I think that they can, kind of sneak in there and may even be able to steal the show because that's a game that everybody loves. Fortnite is pretty much the redheaded stepchild of PUBG.
A lot of people love Fortnite, though.
I'm not a Fortnite fan. Like Luke messaged the group chat last night. He's like, "Hey, who wants to all play Fortnite tonight?" And like people were like, "Oh, I can't because I want to do this. I can't because I'm doing this." I'm like, "I can't because I hate the game."
Have you played it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played it.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for PUBG to come out on Xbox.
I played a little bit of Fortnite. I tried to do a Let's Play of it. It's interesting because the crafting part becomes part of it, which I think adds more depth to it, but it definitely doesn't feel like a finished game. And I haven't played PUBG either. Yeah. With PUBG not being like, it's literally an early access game. And I like they let this get in, okay, which is totally fine. I'm not running the show here. That the actual physical release, the release of the game out of early access, I think is December 9th.
Yeah.
When it comes to Xbox One. Will you fact check me right there? We don't have Allie here this week, which means that the window for Game of the Year has already closed for this awards thing, but they're letting it go through, which is totally fine. But for me, I played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Horizon Zero Dawn. And I played just a tad of Persona 5. There's a ton of people that are Persona fans, and I didn't get into it because I'm not a huge JRPG person.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But out of the three that I have played and put in a ton of time, I love Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn.
It is a very good game.
It is gorgeous. It is so well crafted. But I can't give it to Horizon. I can't give it to Horizon. And that's hard to say because it is one of the best games that I played in a very long time. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, though, is gorgeous. It really opened up the world of Zelda to a lot of new people, sold the console to a ton of people. Like, it's crazy that there were more versions of the Switch Breath of the Wild sold than there were Switches out in the wild. But I can't give it to Zelda either, because the game that I'm in love with is Super Mario Odyssey. I am just enamored with this game. It is so good. Me and Amy have spent night after night playing and putting a ton of time in, and I love that they put in not just like an interesting new game mechanic with Cappy, but they also went a little bit further and put it where you actually can do two-player gaming in this, where two people can play, like, and that's really awesome, because the couch co-op gaming has gone the way of the dinosaur for a lot of games these days. Halo took it out, and then like they decided to put it back in because there's like, oh, there's nobody that wants to do this, but now it is. If I'm wrong on that, let me know in the comments below. But Super Mario Odyssey, each kingdom is so well crafted. Each kingdom has its own like captures where you're capturing things, and they have different abilities, which makes it really, really cool. And each kingdom is just so well thought out of. There's it's the Sea Kingdom. It's like on this beach or whatever, and it's supposed to be like this French beach, and all the characters on there are like snails with little mustaches, and they're French and everything. But it's got the water is Perrier, like bubbly water, which is a French thing. And it's just like all of these things are so well thought out in the game, and just it's gorgeous, and the controls work so well. So for me, I have to give it to Super Mario Odyssey. If you want to vote on the Game Awards, Game of the Year, or any of the categories, then you need to go over to thegameawards.com and start casting your votes on that to make sure that your Game of the Year gets picked. And I know we'll be doing an end of the year roundup and everything, and we'll let our fans vote for our stuff as well. We'll have our personal ones, but then we'll have the community votes and everything for all the Game of the Years and all that good stuff. So I'm excited for it. I love that, Nintendo has come out this year and is just
blown people away.
Just did what they should have done.
Yeah, what they should have been doing all along.
Oh yeah.
But like you have like last year, if you would have told me that we would have 2 Nintendo games in running for Game of the Year, I would have been like, it's gonna be either Zelda or Mario. Yeah. But both of them are up there. Both of them are helping selling this console, like you said, and good job, Nintendo. Yeah, and Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is one that I still haven't played, and I really want to. ARMS is another good game. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to start selling y'all a Switch, but the Switch is doing phenomenal. So I'm very, very happy about that. Speaking of doing very well, I have to brag on the Xbox before we get to the next one. They've sold a ton of the Xbox One X. Yes. Oh my god. I want to say just in Europe alone, they've sold about what was the number? It was pretty large. I think it was like 80,000 or something like that, which is a large quantity in very short time, because it took the PlayStation 4 double the amount of time to sell that many when it first launched. So congratulations to Xbox. Their year end goal, like the year of being out and everything, was 400,000, and now it is 900,000. Yeah, from the way it's been selling and everything. So congratulations. A healthy competition always makes the competitors better, and it's best for the consumer. And that's what I've always said. Like, Xbox will be on top one year, Sony will be on the next year, and it just it feeds into each other. It makes the other one be better. Yeah. And if you didn't, it would be, they'd get lazy and they wouldn't put out the best stuff that they could. You'd be like EA. Very well.
But I'm very, very happy that Nintendo has come out swinging. Xbox is on the rise. PlayStation 4 got a little lax, especially with the PlayStation 4 Pro and how they handled that launch and everything.
Yeah.
But seeing that people actually are like wanting this is just really, really good for the competitive side of this and to make the best for the gamers, which are all of us. So I'm very, very happy about that. On to the next story, though. Destiny 2's Curse of Osiris will introduce a new raid layer encounter. As part of the first stream detailing the first expansion of Destiny 2's Curse of Osiris, Bungie answered one of the expansion's biggest questions: what will the new raid content look like? With the Curse of Osiris, the developer introducing raid layers, a new kind of shorter 6-player raid encounter. Curse of Osiris raid layer is called Leviathan Eater of Worlds, and the name will imply that the characters will in turn to the Cabal Emperor Callus Massive, a planet-eating ship. Rather than head for the top of the ship, players will take to the lower path and enter the Eater of Worlds. The team will not divulge any more details on what the players can expect from the Eater of Worlds new counter, but did tease that they will offer them new loot, puzzles, and a boss for the players to obsess over. Bungie promises Eater of Worlds will be no less challenging and completely different than Leviathan, and players can expect to die a lot. To bear that out, the raid layer's power requirement will be 300, and the current raid, the Leviathan, will also be boosted to 300 power, up from 270. Gear from the Leviathan will also be boosted to match. As with the Leviathan, Eater of Worlds will also be compatible with Destiny 2's guided games feature and will have prestige variations. Players can expect Eater of Worlds to release sometime after the initial launch of Curse of Osiris, just like they did with
the Leviathan
raid.
Now, this is something that's exciting for me because I have been wanting to get back into the world of Destiny, but with so many games that have been coming out, it's been very hard to stay on with one game.
Yeah.
But we haven't done the Leviathan raid.
No, we haven't.
I mean, I want to do that. I want to get the Curse of Osiris and play it, but I also have Battlefront. I also have Assassin's Creed. So
yeah, I got to get back in Assassin's Creed now that I've got so much playing, so much to do, and not enough time.
Because you're off, right?
Oh yeah, man, I'm off. I'm gonna be eat, sleeping, drinking, and hopefully, also spending time with my wife and preparing for.
I'll be at work Friday, or Monday, so.
But also preparing for hosting my family and her family for Thanksgiving.
Oh, you'll be here?
Yes.
Oh.
21 people. In this apartment.
My prayers go out to
rest
you.
in the Oh, you know what else can rest in peace? Disney has cut ties with Gazillion and shuts down Marvel Heroes.
I don't want them to rest in peace.
I'm talking about Gazillion resting in peace.
Disney can suck a butt.
Disney has cut its ties with developer of Marvel Heroes and shutting it down. Its Diablo-like MMO. According to Kotaku, the news came via an email with Destiny representative. The email states the following. That's what they were saying. But translated, it says, "We regret to inform our Marvel Heroes fans that we have ended our relation with Gazillion Entertainment and that Marvel Hero games will shut down. We would like to sincerely thank the players who joined the Marvel Heroes community and will provide any further updates as they become available." Now, this is a completely online game.
Yeah.
So they are shuttering it like 100%.
Like, it was free to play, but there was a lot of in-game purchases. And there's a lot of people who are very upset about this because they have, like, recently, like within a few days of the Gazillion shutting down, they were buying the in-game loot. And, they're demanding Disney give them a refund, which I 100% agree. Should, day one people back in 2013 get a refund? No. I think that they should have it like if you purchased something in like the last 6 months or, last year or last 2 months.
Last 2 months is like being generous in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like 6 months, that works as well. But 2 months, that needs to be the grace period at least.
Yeah, because you have people who are like, could have been just getting into the game and they're like, oh, let me, buy something and let me, and then, oh, guess what? you don't have the game anymore.
Yeah, it's come out of left field.
Yeah.
And this right after Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 coming out. Like, I don't know if that has anything to, but you got to look at it. Like, Disney is kind of like cutting the fat,
trimming the hedges,
and with this game, I know a lot of people really enjoyed it. I never got into it, never played it, but I know Greg Miller enjoyed it. One of the former IGN employees actually went over and worked with Gazillion Entertainment and was pretty much one of the head people or one of the bigger developers on it. And it looked like there was a big support of the game because it was kind of like a DC Online and Marvel Ultimate Alliance kind of like put together. And of course it has microtransactions in it because it is free to play, but there was depth to it and they were always adding more and more to it. But for Disney to go out and just kind of kill it.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, out of nowhere.
It just, Disney doesn't do something that's they don't kill things that make money. So it might not be making money. It might have just been a money pit that was happening there. I don't know. This is just me speculating here. So don't take it with a grain of salt, everybody. Take it with a grain of salt. Or there might be something new that is coming that we don't know about yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's all fine. But I do think that there should be some kind of compensation for the gamer. And
especially since they want good PR. Because Disney right now is suffering from a lot of bad PR with the way they've handled the LA Times and all of that with their reviews and with Star Wars coming up and all of this debacle that's been happening with EA. We talked about it last week with their microtransactions and everything. And Sunday, we didn't even get into this. Like, this is what's been like, I'm sure you all know this, but them being the most downvoted Reddit comment in history by saying, oh, well, you playing 40 hours to unlock one hero, Luke or Darth Vader, should make a sense of pride and accomplishment. That is the most downvoted thing in Reddit history. And then them backpedaling by cutting the cost of the heroes by 75% while also lowering how many credits you get per game. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
But more has come out right before the game launched. The night before the game launched for everybody. If you got the deluxe edition like I did, you got in early, or if you were playing on EA Access over on the Xbox One, you got in early. But now they've changed something, and I think this is for the better, but there's more to it than meets the eye.
There's always a catch.
EA typically backs away from virtual currency in Star Wars Battlefront 2. EA has removed purchable crystals from Star Wars Battlefront 2 after a sustained and heated backlash against the system took over social media and, more importantly, mainstream attention by large media outlets. If it would have just stayed on Reddit and it wouldn't have hit like some of the bigger outlets, it would have never mattered. Players can no longer spend real money, to buy these crystals, which are one of the game's virtual currencies used to buy loot boxes. What this means is the game is no longer pay to win, as players cannot just purchase crystals to get star cards faster. This also means they are only able to be earned through in-game grinding. It solves the problem, but is the rest of the game remains it has been and does not solve every issue people are complaining about. This is the blog post that they put up. Thank you, everyone in our community, for being passionate fans that you are. Our goal has always been to recreate the best possible game for all of you, devoted Star Wars fans and players alike. We've also had an ongoing commitment to constantly listen, tune, and evolve the experience as it grows. You've seen this is what both major adjustments and polish we have made over the past several weeks. But as we approach the worldwide launch, it is clear that many of you feel that there are still challenges in the design. Challenges. That is their key word right there. That means there's crap in there that you don't like and you've been complaining about it. But challenges. That's the PR speak right there. We've heard the concerns about the potentially giving players unfair advantages, and we've heard that this overshadowing an otherwise great game. Great game. Debatable still. This was never our intention. Sorry we didn't get this right. That right there. Okay. I'm going to break this down and what I think. Okay. What I think. I'm going to put it on main camera here real quick so I can. wasn't your intention, who built the game? Who built the game? It wasn't the Coalition.
No.
It wasn't Drinkbox Studios.
Nope.
It wasn't Sucker Punch. Was it Epic Games?
But who was it, Zach?
I think it was.
Was it?
It was DICE.
Ah.
Yeah, the people that put out this post, they're the ones that built the game.
Yeah. So
it wasn't our intention.
It was your intention.
Yes, it was. Like the crystals and how all of this works is in the DNA of the game.
Yeah, like literally it was built for that. Like it was built to have you be able to buy these crystals, to be able to get the star cards and to get all this extra stuff. It was built for it. And for them saying, oh, I don't know why we did this.
Yeah, it's like you get caught in the kitchen late at night and you're just shoving cookies in your mouth, and you got the Oreos just like in your beard, and your mom's like, "What are you doing?" Wasn't my intention to eat all the Oreos, but there's no Oreos, and now you have a stomach ache. It goes back just to the beta. Like if people would not have complained, they wouldn't have changed anything from the beta, and that was where it was definitely pay to win, but it was never their intention. That's where I have the biggest problem here is, yes, they got called out several times about this, but it was never their intention. And I know we blame the publishers a lot of times, but there were some things that were coming out this past week that a lot of the times it's not just the publishers, the developers are part of it as well. And I can understand where 2K games have, said that their, the purchases in games like GTA Online and all of that, they make more money than the initial sales of the game. Yeah. And GTA Online has sold in the billions of copies now. They get more money from in-game purchases, the microtransactions, than they have people actually buying the game. That's a big thing. Like if you're a publisher, you're like, okay, we're going to sink these millions of dollars into this game. How do we keep getting an investment? Because we're not going to charge more than $60.
And if you were to do it like Grand Theft Auto, that's fine. It's still not a pay to win type thing with Grand Theft Auto. But in all these other games where you have loot crates, like you're getting much better stuff than what the normal person is playing through the game, and that's the kind of play to win, and that's where we are in the gaming industry right now.
Okay. I'm going to say something that's probably not going to be popular for everybody. If you put out several different versions of the game, you have your standard edition, you have your deluxe edition, then you have like the gold edition or whatever you want to call it, and it goes $60. $80, $100. If you put everything in the $100 edition and I never have to see microtransactions in it, I'll start paying $100 for a game. I don't care. I would rather pay $100 and never have to see microtransactions, never have to, like, anytime I finish a match and it goes to the main menu, it's like, you have loot crates to unlock. It's like, okay. And I have to like exit out of it telling me I have loot crates to unlock. And this is Battlefront. Yes, I know I have loot crates. I could see the number down there. Yeah. I don't want to open them right now. But it's like, oh, you go in there to open it. Oh, down there below, you can also buy stuff. Okay? Never our intention. Sorry we didn't get this right. Are you sorry? Like, and this goes back to psychological thinking right here. When you get caught, are you sorry that you did it?
No.
You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry you got caught and people called you out on it. It was your intention. You're sorry that you got caught, because if it was never your intention, you would have never done it. You would have never put it in there, and then you never had any problems. So there's all of that. The next thing that's interesting, though, is why they really took everything out. Report: Electronic Arts backed off Battlefront 2 microtransactions after Disney put its foot down.
That's a big foot. Yes. A very expensive foot.
Yes. Wall Street Journal reporter Ben Fritz has been following the twists and turns of EA's changings with Star Wars Battlefront 2, mentioning that Disney executives contacted EA to figure out the fervor, or the furor.
The furor.
I think it's supposed to be fervor, not not Hitler.
Not the Fuhrer.
Over Battlefront 2.
God.
The tweet points to an article Fritz wrote about the subject. In the tweet, he clarifies that Disney's head consumer products and interactive media, Jimmy
I can't get over it.
sent a letter to EA outlining Disney and Chief Executives Bob Iger's concerns with the way EA was handling the game and the public perception of it. As mainstream outlet began conflicting with Star Wars licensing with gambling and outrage, it seems Disney began to take the issue with Battlefront 2 being the news for the reason. EA announced that last night they were pulling microtransactions from Battlefront 2 due to a wave of negative reactions due to the respective pay-to-win progression that lead mainstream attentions to outlets like CNN. The publisher has clarified the removal is only temporary and will return to a different time through still progression based from a later date. Now, the biggest thing from this, and this article doesn't go as in depth as the Kotaku article that I read. EA's has the rights to all the Star Wars games right now. They had Star Wars Battlefront. They put it in 2015. They had this one. They had Visceral working on a game and Respawn working on a game. And Respawn wasn't owned by them at that point in time. Now, EA put out Star Wars Battlefront 2015. It was a pretty good game. Like the shooting was really well. It looked gorgeous. But you had to pay over $100 to get the full experience because the season pass, where the rest of the game was $50-something. So you didn't get the whole game after you paid $60. Again, just like I said earlier, I would pay $100 to get a full game if that's what it's going to cost if I can get the whole freaking game.
Exactly. It sucks.
So we have them put that out. Visceral's been working on a game. Amy Hennig's there. I'm like excited. They showed that whole thing at E3 a few years ago where they had nothing. EA was like, we got nothing. Let's just throw them some stuff. So Visceral showed a little bit. There wasn't much there, but Amy Hennig was working on it. It looked like it was going to be good. Respawn showed some people like mocapping like some with sticks. So we didn't really get any of that. EA closed Visceral. EA buys Respawn. And EA puts out Star Wars Battlefront 2 amongst all of this going on. Disney is not getting their money's worth with this deal with EA. Because they just shuttered one whole game that's been being money poured into. And Disney, I'm sure, puts a lot of backing into it financially. Not just EA, but Disney puts cash down on the table to make sure stuff comes out because it looks good on them. They're using their properties. Same thing with Marvel Heroes. Something had to be going wrong. They must have been losing money or something was happening, and they wanted to cut ties. Now, you look at how many Lego games that have come out with Marvel stuff because they own all of that. They've been putting out a ton of Lego Marvel stuff. Lego Marvel Heroes, Lego Marvel Avengers, Lego Marvel Heroes 2. You've got all of this, and that's easy. It's Legos.
That's not a lot of graphics you're putting in or anything like that.
But Disney is not going to let someone in the eve, we're a few weeks away from Star Wars The Last Jedi from hitting theaters. They're not going to let bad PR tank a good movie. And I don't think, even if it would have just went horribly wrong, and it's been pretty bad with EA, it would have really affected the bottom line of it. But public perception has been being shifted because Disney itself has stepped in the cow dung recently with the LA Times stuff, where they weren't going to let them have previews and all of this, where a lot of people were retaliating because that's not how you do it. You don't silence the media. You don't silence the media because the media will lash back at you. That's the biggest thing here is we're having all of these things, and I'm glad that Disney stepped up. It probably was like, all right, we're going to, it's like the dog with the leash. You go so far, but hey, guess what?
You're about to choke yourself. Pull back.
That's what happened to EA. And even in their statement, like, they've taken out the crystals. It's not their intention. They're sorry they got caught. But they'll eventually put it back in there. Once everything dies down, they'll put it back in there. I can guarantee you, as soon as the heat is off, it's like when you're hiding in GTA. As soon as the heat dies down,
you're good. Now, what Disney needs to do is have like like a sensor over that cookie jar, so anytime he reaches his hand in there, something goes.
A guillotine just
it
just chops off the hand. So it's very concerning to me because I love this property. It's my favorite property, and I love the original Star Wars Battlefront games. Pandemic did an amazing job with those games, and EA buys Pandemic, and guess what happened to Pandemic? They're dead. That company is dead now. Visceral is dead now. They bought Respawn. Guess what? You put in, we're going to work on the games that we want. We're going to put all this in our contract. Well, guess what? A lot of other people have too. And guess where they're at? Their doors are closed.
Now, we talked about it last week, but I even posted a picture to our Facebook group about all the studios that EA has just kind of...
I loved Caleb, I think it's Caleb Taylor's post where it had like Star Wars, the complete saga, and like 160 characters, like everything, and that's even on sale right now. One of the best Lego games, in my opinion. And then it was like Star Wars Battlefront 2. So, like, yes, I did buy Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'll admit that. I wasn't like, it took a lot for me to like, I was back and forth. I talked to Derek Daniel about it. Like, I want to see if the game is worth it. Like, I want to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing. Like, I'm not going to buy a microtransaction. I've never bought a microtransaction, and I never will buy a microtransaction. You know, that's like not even for a review purpose or anything. I'm not going to buy anything. Like, and I've even avoided buying Assassin's Creed and Shadow of War because I wasn't going to support that. And I know that's kind of like, oh, well, he's being a hypocrite because he bought Star Wars Battlefront 2, but
it's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars. Like I'm susceptible to my loves.
Everybody has their weakness. That's your kryptonite.
It just, I know I got excited there. Hey, I got excited there, but I just don't want people fooled by this PR speak because that's all it is. And like even Disney putting down its foot doesn't mean that this is over. And with people saying, oh, well, if it was only cosmetic, no, it is in there. It wants your money. And a lot of people, the Dutch government and I want to say another European government are looking into microtransactions as gambling now. The government are looking into EA. Not just one of them, EA. That's why Disney's got scared.
And you look at this; these are people who are preying on people's addictive personalities. Like if you were to put in your money, you get a loot crate, and it's crap. You might not go back to it, but like I feel like a lot of times the first time you ever buy a loot crate, you're gonna get something decent out of it, and then after that you'll get another 20 that sucks, and then you might get another one that's good.
Yeah, and what doesn't help is YouTubers that do unboxing videos. Like I made the joke during the stream because like as soon as I loaded up the game, I had 7 loot crates that needed to be opened. I like made the joke, like, oh, we're gonna do unboxing video now, guys. Here we go. And like as I logged in yesterday, I had 7 more. I'm like, where is all this coming from? Like I haven't played that much.
Yeah.
But like you have this unhealthy culture around it because people want to see what it is. And Team Fortress 2 was one that really introduced it. But Overwatch is the one that made it popular. And yes, it is only cosmetics, but think about how much money they have made off of cosmetics because you want to look like the coolest person on the game.
Oh, I want the Christmas suit. I play Overwatch still, and I'm like, the only time I open a loot box is when I do something good enough to get it for free.
Yeah. And like that game does reward you like for doing hardly anything, but to get like you either have to put in a ton of time to get exactly what you want or be very lucky gambling or put down the cash. And we're getting to a point.
And I have none of those 3.
We're getting to the point that's like this fever pitch of like the games industry, the game development side of things that is just dirty. Like it's not about the enjoyment of the consumer anymore. It's about how much money can we get out of this? Yeah. What is the return, the ROI, the return on the investment here? If we put microtransactions in it, it's going to be much bigger. I still haven't played NBA 2K. I want to play that game, but I know it's not going to be worth me buying, and I'm not going to support it because of how bad the virtual currency is in it this year. It's been in it for years, and we just dealt with it.
Like the Wizards Wizards have Kelly Oubre and John Wall. I want to just kill people with that with that combination, but I'm not playing it.
No.
And this is like we said multiple times, how I go back to like 09, 2010, you go back to 13.
12, I think.
Yeah.
Whenever Jordan was on the cover.
Like, I mean,
yeah,
we've put in the years.
Yeah, and a ton of time. So it's just very sad to see everything moving this way. And thankfully, some developers are not doing this. Thankfully, some people, they make their own mistakes in their own ways and everything, but at least Nintendo's not doing something stupid like this.
Yeah.
But there is an interesting development, and I thought I would never see Nintendo go back to something like this, but I'm actually kind of excited. There's an animated Super Mario film in development from the makers of Despicable Me. Raise your hand if you remember the old Super Mario Brothers cartoon series from the 80s. The variety show featured a live-action Mario and Luigi playing wrestling legend Captain Lou Albano and Danny Wells. The show also featured an animated segment which featured a lot in this. The wacky exploits of Mario and Luigi in the Mushroom Kingdom. Well, it looks like Nintendo's next animated Mario project will be the whole less campy, as it was revealed moments ago, this was a few days ago, that the animated feature film is in development at Universal Pictures Illumination Entertainment, the same studio that produced Despicable Me movies. However, the Illumination is currently focused on Minion 2, so the animated Mario film could be a ways off. Now, if you don't remember this, Nintendo is building Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
Who are they building Nintendo Land with?
Mario.
Universal.
Oh.
That's who they're doing it with.
Nintendo's big thing is
so
Mario.
it makes sense that they are partnering with Universal instead of Pixar and all of this. Plus, I'm sure Nintendo doesn't want to get in bed with Disney. Don't want to give Disney too much more power. Okay. I'm excited about this. I think Despicable Me was really great. I know some people hate Minions and all of that. It's whatever to me, but they're funny. Despicable Me is hilarious. Really good. Yeah, Despicable Me 2 is good as well. Like, I think you've done a really good job there. Is Universal also Kung Fu Panda? No, they're DreamWorks. That's DreamWorks. Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm excited about it. Like, we go back to the dark ages of that awful movie. We don't want this live action. I'm glad that they're going animated.
And, I said it before. Like, this is a character that only works animated, whether it's a game or an animated TV show. There's no way that Mario would work as a live action movie, and nor do we want it to be a live action movie, because I mean, that 80s one, like, Zach still has nightmares over the lady. Cannot remember her name right now. But, like, it was horrible. I never want to watch it again.
I don't either. Charles Martinetti, whatever, is the voice of Mario. Has been the voice of Mario since Mario has had a voice. Mm-hmm. He has to play Mario in this.
Oh, yeah.
But my biggest concern is Mario only has a few catchphrases like the Yahoo and it's me,
Mario.
Oh no, that's about it. How are they going to, like, is Mario going to say more than that? Because in the games, like, I beat Super Mario Odyssey, probably my game of the year. I've already said that in this podcast so far. But it's going to be weird having Mario speaking more. Like, Peach will say more than Mario, but it's not a lot. Bowser's got to talk in the game. Yeah, I mean the movie and all of that.
Luigi. Like, can Charles Martinet, can he sustain?
I think he can.
He's
amazing. Have you ever watched that video?
Yes, I have. Like,
so good.
I mean, he's
so good.
He's a very talented voice actor.
I think he can. It's just, I hope that they do it well, and like they do it with the sense of the character the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this in the new Pokemon movie. Pikachu talks.
No, yeah, like
in English.
Like, I was watching that video and, like, Pikachu says something, you hear, what the
Yeah, it's like, just like, what's going on here?
Some things should not be explored. And Pikachu talking, especially speaking in English, No.
Yeah.
It should be Pikachu.
I know. He's like Groot. That's all you need. Like,
you know what he's saying.
I know.
Even when he's not speaking English.
And I don't think Mario is going to get into that because he's a human, he can say more, but it never does. So I'm curious to see what they do with that. Let us know what you think about it in the comments below. And that is it for gaming news, but we're already sort of in the movie news and the TV news. And this popped up, this little thing popped up before the show.
Oh yeah.
And I'm excited. So we're gonna grab our headphones. If you're listening on the audio side of things, then go look up the First Doctor enters the 12th Doctor's TARDIS. This is the Christmas special preview for this year, and I'm excited. I haven't watched the whole thing, so we're doing it live here. We're doing it live.
You might be in for a my TARDIS. Look at my TARDIS. This is impossible. Have I been burgled?
But it's
Hideous.
bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
No, I thought it probably was. Glad it's not just me.
What is this place?
This place is, or ought to be, my TARDIS.
Yeah, David.
Technically, that is your TARDIS. It's about 70 feet that way. See? Always remember where you parked.
So I like that they bring back the
madness?
First Doctor.
Yeah.
There's a rumor going around that
Madness.
Matt Smith.
Well,
is
you're an
gonna make
officer
an
from
appearance
World
in
War
this.
I at the South Pole, being pursued by an alien through frozen time. Madness was never this good.
World War I.
Judging by the uniform, yes.
Yes, but what do you mean, one?
Oh, sorry.
Isn't that Moffat?
Spoilers.
Enough of this. Who are you?
Like
You know
this,
I am.
this
You knew the
interaction
moment
right
you
here
saw
just
me.
gets me.
I'd
So
say
good.
stop being an idiot, but I kind of know what's coming.
I assure you, I do not have the faintest idea who you are.
Well,
He looks so
I know who you are.
is anyone going to explain what's going on?
Snap.
Or me?
No. Yes. Yes, I'm very much afraid so.
Do I become you?
Well, there's a few false starts, but you get there in the end.
I thought,
Well,
I assumed I'd get
Younger.
younger.
I am younger.
All right, so there you go. That's Christmas this year. What do you think about that? Like, do you like that they're going that direction?
I do. I always like when they bring other Doctors back into the universe because they play off of each other so well.
Yeah,
I would love to see Matt Smith pop up in it as well. I need
love to see some David Tennant.
Oh yeah, even Chris Eccleston. That was all.
I don't think Chris will ever come back.
He
as the
will never
Doctor,
be back on. Doctor
which is
Who.
unfortunate. I like Chris.
I
as
do
well.
too. I thought he was really good as the Doctor, but I do need to catch up with Capaldi's.
Yeah, I haven't
season
watched
cut.
it forever, especially since they took it off Netflix. Netflix, what you doing, man?
I know that killed me. I could still watch it on Admit Me,
Mm-hmm.
but I have so many other things I'm trying to watch.
Trying to do and everything.
No.
I think it's great. I think it's like we're fixing to get a new Doctor, the female Doctor, which I'm curious to see how they go about it. I think it's a good thing that they're doing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like we talked about this before you even came on the show, like when Willis was still on the show, and like I know my opinions have changed since then, but it's been going on for years. Like we're fixing to hit 5 years in May.
Yeah.
So like it's been talked about for a very long time.
He's even said it. The Doctor said, when I change, I could be anything. I could be young. I could be old. I could be a boy. I could be a girl.
Yeah, and you even look at the Master, like he came back as Missy or whatever it was, the Mistress.
Yeah.
So like it's possible that I think they set that up with the Mistress being able to do that.
Yeah.
To help allow the Doctor to become a female, which I think should bring in a new dynamic, because like once Matt Smith left the show, like the following that it had, like the fervor, not the furor that was following it, died down a lot. And not to like say anything bad about Capaldi, I think Capaldi does a really good Doctor. It's just not the same. And I think the writing has been a lot less. Like from the beginning of Matt Smith to the end of Matt Smith, everything connected to it. Like it was well thought out. You know, the crack in
very
time.
well written. Like that's probably the best writing in Doctor Who was Matt Smith's run.
Yeah, and like I think they need to recapture that. They need to hit the ground running and have a plan from beginning to the end of the next Doctor.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited for the Christmas special. It will get me into it. Another Christmas special coming up on December 7th, the Psych.
I shared that yesterday.
The Psych movie is going to be so good. It's going to be so good.
I can't wait.
Psych it!
Low and then high.
Like, it is going to be so good. What's another interesting thing that's coming to TV? That's been away
Confirmed.
It's been confirmed. We talked about it last week. Lord of the Rings TV series officially a go at Amazon. Will adapt previously unexplored Tolkien stories, which we talked about. We were hoping that it wasn't going to just rehash the old stuff. Let's get into the meat and bones of it here. We recently brought you news of a potential Lord of the Rings TV show, and it has now been confirmed that the series has landed a multi-season commitment at Amazon. The show will be produced by Amazon Studios in cooperation with the Tolkien Estate and Trust. HarperCollins and New Line Cinema is expected to dwarf any series to date. Now, you see that they did not go with WB here, because the Tolkien Estate and WB, Warner Brothers, don't get along.
Yeah.
Don't get along. Here's the press release in full. The Lord of the Rings is a cultural phenomenon that has captured the imagination of generations of fans through literature and the big screen, said Sharon Tal Ugando.
Ugato. No N.
Oh, Ugato. I was close. I was pretty good. Head of the scripted series, Amazon Studios. We're honored to be working with the Tolkien Estate and Trust HarperCollins and New Line on this exciting collaboration for television, and are thrilled to be taking the Lord of the Rings fans on a new epic journey in Middle-earth. We're delighted that Amazon, with its long-standing commitment to literature, is the home of the first ever multi-season television series for The Lord of the Rings, Adam Mount Galsor, yeah. A representative of the Tolkien Estate and Trust HarperCollins. Sharon and the team at Amazon Studios have exceptional ideas that brings to screen previous unexplored stories based on J.R.R. Tolkien's original writings.
And one thing that really stands out for me is that they're going with not known stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see more of the stuff that we didn't get to see. I want to see more of, maybe see Tom Bombadil pop up somewhere.
Yeah.
I want to see, the stuff leading up to the ring being made.
Yeah.
Like Ellie said, whether it might be the creation of the land and everything like that, the elves meeting the humans and the dwarves, and
there's a huge timeline that's never been explored. I don't know the name of the book. I'm not,
yeah.
That's Allie's expertise, but I think they've got a ton of stuff that they could do, and it could be where each season is exploring something totally different, or it could set up some main characters that we don't know anything about, and we could be exploring it through that. But I think anything that they could do, they could even do like short stories with these, take 6 episodes in a season to do a thing, and then 6 more episodes to do something, and it leads into one another. I think that would be a really cool thing. But it's them going with Amazon is a very different choice, but I think Amazon has really upped its game to even compete with Netflix on the original side of things. So I'm excited to see it, but I'm also hoping that they don't touch anything that's been done with The Hobbit or has been done with the Lord of the Rings movies. But I think this has great potential to do something that is above and beyond what we've seen by television shows, because Netflix has set the bar pretty high, but I think this could be something that's really, really awesome as well. And something else that I think is going to be pretty awesome, Fantastic Beasts 2 gets an official title and reveals young Dumbledore. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 2 is now officially titled Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. After the successful launch of the Harry Potter spin-off in 2016, Warner Brothers is standing to build another franchise off the back of the popular work created by best-selling author J.K. Rowling. Introducing a slew of new characters, the ongoing narrative takes place years before the event of the main Potter series and follows a new protagonist named Newt Scamander.
Scamander.
A magi zoologist.
Yes.
And an employee at the Ministry of Magic, with the first film laying grounds of what is going on in the multi-movie storyline, featuring some of the mythos familiar characters like Albus Dumbledore and Gellert Grindelwald. Johnny Depp. The building series, blah, 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 blah. So there's a picture right there. We got old Dumbledore over here. Jake Gyllenhaal. That's not Jake Gyllenhaal. That's, what is that guy's name? Oh, God. Where does it say his name? Oh, my God. I can't remember his name, everybody.
Jude Law.
Jude Law. There we go. There's old Jude Law, not Jake Gyllenhaal.
I was like,
we got Jake Gyllenhaal over there. We've got Ezra Miller right here. We got some girl that I don't know. Some guy I don't know. There's Scandamander, the girl from the movie. We got Kowalski, I guess that's his name.
good job. You're killing this.
Am I really?
You're killing it, man.
I'm good.
You're
Okay.
doing good.
We got a girl with the face like she can read people's emotions of their mind. And then we got Johnny Depp reprising his role as Captain Jack Sparrow with a new haircut and hair dye.
Precisely.
I think he's like the Joker. Like, look at that. Look at it. Look at his face. He's the Joker.
Okay.
There you go. There's the Muggle view of Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald. What do you think of the picture? Do you like it?
I do. It's showing like a lot of different dynamics.
A lot of characters. We got
a lot of new characters. I would love to see how a young Dumbledore kind of carries himself, and how he gets from this part all the way to being headmaster.
Avada Kedavra.
But Newt Scamander. I cannot remember the actor's name to save my life, but you know, he's been in a lot of different movies. He's been in if I could see it.
I'm trying to find it for you.
But he's been in Les Mis. I mean, he's done just a bunch of different things. He was even Holly was telling me about this movie he was in where he played a transvestite. His acting chops are very refined, and he did a really good job in the first one.
Eddie Redmayne.
Redmayne, yeah.
Yep.
So I think I'm excited for this. I think this is going to be a great movie. I love the first one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I really enjoyed the first one. I finally got around to watching it. I didn't watch it in theaters, but it's definitely a different take on the world and everything, so I'm excited for it. Another thing that I'm not as excited for, but I'm interested to see how the CW progresses from this.
Black Beetle Lightning.
Black Lightning is getting a date and a time. And this is the interesting part that actually is going to affect another show. The newest entry to the CW DC TV lineup, Black Lightning, has finally received a premiere date. The show will debut Tuesday, January 16th, not very far away, airing right after a new episode of The Flash. You like that? I like that. The Flash. And yes, you saw that correctly. Black Lightning is taking over DC's Legends of Tomorrow time slot.
Where will it go? Who knows?
So what will be that is literally what this says. So what will be happen? So
happening. What will be happening?
No. So what will be happen? I know I say a lot of things wrong on this show, so I can't really point fingers. So what will be happening to our favorite group of time-traveling heroes, you ask? Well, no specific date and time has been set in stone yet, but we do know that Legends will be back at a new night and time in February. And if you want to know more about Black Lightning, you can go look at all that good stuff, and you can find more out about that. What are your thoughts on Black Lightning taking DC's Legends of Tomorrow's time slot. And what do you think is going to happen with that show?
Now, the first season of Legends, it got super repetitive. The second season, it became one of my top CW shows, one of my favorite superhero shows, because of how it interacted with different times in history, where you had the Civil War, which had a very big moment. We got to see J.R. Tolkien. We got to see
George Lucas.
It had really big moments. With Black Lightning taking its place, it's going to find a new place, but that usually does not bode well for TV shows.
Especially since I think they've moved time slots a few times, haven't they?
I want to say this is their second time move, because they had to make room for Supergirl.
Yeah.
And you saw Supergirl got a time change on CBS, and then it got picked up by the CW, which is the mega house for superhero shows. Yeah. Well, if you're getting moved around on the CW, there's really no other place for you to go after this.
And you have Captain Cold. He's leaving the show.
Yeah. Mr. Snart.
Yeah. So he's leaving. So that's a big pull for that show, because he's a fantastic actor.
He is. I think we get this season, maybe another season, and then I think you run out of things to do. I mean, which is crazy, because with time traveling, there's so much you can do, but I don't know.
Well, I remember when this was coming out, they hyped it so much, and apparently it's not doing well for them to keep shifting things around. Yeah. Like, if it was doing well, Supergirl would not have taken its spot. Like, it would have been shifted for Supergirl, and now they're betting everything on Black Lightning being popular enough to keep carrying something, so they're moving it again, and they haven't even defined a time or a date yet. Yeah. That says a lot about the future of the show. I think you get this season, because it's probably already being filmed, so they're going to give it this season, and then Legends of Tomorrow is going to be done. I mean, that's just my opinion on it.
I mean, I understand that it's giving it's giving way to other shows that are reaching out to a whole different type of people. Like you have Supergirl reaching out, and girls are able to see that as a superhero and everything like that. So I understand that it's more iconic. And now you're getting an African American man becoming the lead role in a superhero show.
Which is awesome.
Which is amazing. And I mean, it's about time. But you look at what the superhero shows that are on CW, predominantly white superheroes.
You got Mr. Terrific on Arrow, and you have Wild Dog. Is that what it is?
Wild Dog. He's Spanish. Then you have the detective on Flash.
Yeah, you got Joe.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think adding
you've got some stuff, but as the lead role, lead role,
which is great. Like, I mean, you even look at other CW shows. You have Supernatural. You have Eyes on
Vampire Diaries.
And I think CW
Vampire Diaries is done by now.
Oh yeah, that's Holly's go-to show.
I'm sorry.
They kill vampires with wooden bullets.
Yeah.
That was so dumb.
I would think the combustion would incinerate the bullets, but there's also ice bullets as well.
It's true, but I think that's kind of why even though Legends of Tomorrow does have a superhero in there, Jefferson, who combines with the Professor Stein to make
Firestorm.
Jeez.
Helping you out, man.
You are. But so I mean, I think they're moving it around to not to push an agenda, but to kind of to give everybody.
It's definitely pushing the new kid on the block, that kind of deal. And they've let way for Supergirl. Now they're letting way for Black Lightning. It just doesn't bode well for the show. And I hope that they at least keep the characters as every now and then I'll pop up or whatever, but. I don't think it goes further than the next season. And if it does, then awesome, because I think, the more shows we have, they do speak to different people. I've never watched Legends.
And I
actually have watched one because it had to deal with one of the crossover things. And I was just I don't understand any of this.
The Civil War episode almost had me starting to tear up.
I cry all the time with watching Flash.
I think there's some touching moments in these shows.
They are. So there you go. There's you some news about that. Now we have one last trailer, and this we're recording on Saturday. This is fresh. This is the freshest freshness. It's The Incredibles 2.
Something we've been waiting for like 14 years.
Yeah, 14 years.
Loved the first Incredibles movie. I thought it was just the right amount of funny seriousness with superheroes.
Yeah, and I think Pixar showed that they could create a superhero world that didn't have to rely on any of Batman or Spider-Man. They created their own characters that we love and know to this day, and we want more, and we're finally getting it.
You have something that's so highly quoted from that movie.
Where's my suit?
Where is my super suit?
Like my kids, like we call the uniforms their super suits. So like anytime I'm like, all right, you're gonna have your super suit on tonight, and they're like, where is my? I'm just like, I walk into it all the time.
But like, a good job. It took you way longer than it should have to get this out, but we finally have it.
Well, they had to make the few things that we did want to watch, Toy Story, you know, but then they had to make 20 million cars and another Monsters Inc., which we didn't need it. It was okay, but we didn't need it. It was good where it was. And then we had planes.
That was okay.
Trains and automobiles. But here we go. We're going to look at the trailer and then dive deep into what we think about the future of this movie. Clearly, Jack.
You have powers! Yeah, baby!
Summer 2018, not too far away, actually.
No.
What did you think about it?
I liked it. Like, obviously, Jack is going to be the center of the
attention.
Focus.
It's a baby.
It's a baby. But I think that because they are trying to live normal lives, the biggest thing is going to be the biggest thing is to be trying to cover up. That Jack has all these powers, and he looks like he can transform into like any element. He shoots lightning. He shoots lasers. You saw teleports. You saw Syndrome in the first one trying to fly away with him. He turns into a metal baby and just drops to the ground. Like the babysitter, God bless her soul. Like, Jack's doing weird things again. Like I'm just super excited for this movie. I think like it doesn't matter who the bad guy is. The focus is Jack.
Yeah, and we get to see that like it's picking up right as the second one is ending, or shortly after, because Jack's not grown up.
Yep.
You know, and that's a big thing right there. Is I was wondering, do they skip ahead where all the characters are older? Is Jack already grown up? It's nice to see that they're just going to jump right back into it. And I'm curious to see who the villain is, what the plot details are. Like, it's going to be hilarious, the covering up of what Jack can do and everything. But getting to see all the other family members, in their suits, getting to see them fighting and everything, and seeing how they might use the baby in the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be really nice. And I'm glad that it's finally coming out. I can't wait to see more. That was just like a little snippet.
It just gave you
a little tease.
We didn't see laser vision in the first one, so it gives you a little bit more of what his abilities could be and what they can use him for. But this is something like, because it came out when we were in high school, and as a teenager, early teenager, I was super excited. I watched this movie multiple times. And all I could say is, I think it's going to be an incredible movie.
I see what you did there. And like hearing that music kick in, like it is some of the best music.
It really was like it's iconic to them as well.
And I love. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it, and you can't either.
And like you said, summer 2018 right around the corner. We're at the tail end of 2017 right now.
What's great is this is going to be taking on summer superhero blockbuster movies. How is it going to compare to the blockbuster movies that, we're going to have some kind of DC movie that's coming out then. We're going to have some kind of Marvel movie. And then we're going to have Pixar up there with Incredible 2.
I honestly could see...
I could see it beat them.
Yeah, because this is everybody loves Avengers. Everybody loves DC. But literally everybody and their mama has been waiting for Incredibles 2.
Well, and it's like... No offense to anybody that loves those movies. I do too as well. But they are so dark and they get so violent. Like this is it has some overtones in the movie and everything. The first one, but you can bring your kids to this. And
that's the biggest thing. The people who watched the first one
are now
adults. Have families that have kids. And they're going to be like, oh, I could take my, 5-year-old daughter to see DC or The Incredibles. I mean, if you're, I've seen kids in DC movies. And
but it's definitely not as much as like a Pixar movie. Pixar movies always do amazing, and I think this is going to do even better than anything they put out recently because they've been putting out pretty much just the same old. But this is something that people have been clamoring over for a very long time. I'm excited, so excited I keep hitting this mic. But yeah, there you go, everybody. Hope that you enjoyed this video or this podcast, whichever you watched or listened to. If you want to get it early, all you have to do is go over to patreon.com/nerdcave. Get it a whole 4 days early before everybody else. You can watch the live streams when we record it live. We do one live for everybody, but the rest of the time, patrons.
It's live to patrons. They even get a little pre-show.
A little something. All you got to do.
You're our patron saints.
Yes. All you have to do, everybody, is toss us a few dollars, make Robbie, and get everything early. Or if you don't have that money, we understand. Or if you don't want to throw that money at us, that's cool as well. You can go over to youtube.com/nerdcave network, get each segment day by day until we put the whole thing up in its final form, like Frieza when it goes to 100% power. Boom! That's what you're going to be getting on Friday in the YouTube version and the podcast version. All those podcast services around the world. So there you go, guys. Episode 233 is in the books.
Close this chapter.
There you go. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. Let us know what your favorite part was down in the comments.
Yeah, down there.
So this has been Zach.
And Robbie.
Have a week.